With the Denver Nuggets winning today, the Western Conference Finals are officially set. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Western Conference Finals matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver Nuggets and predicting the series, each team's strengths and weaknesses, the players who need to step up, the key to success, every little detail. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by October, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that all being said, let's take a look at this conference finals matchup. The Los Angeles Lakers were once again dominant in their series as they cruised to a gentleman's sweep of the Houston Rockets. After dropping Game 1, LA never looked back and completely thwarted the Rockets' micro ball and offensive scheme. LeBron was amazing this series once again. Anthony Davis played okay, but I think Houston did defend him a lot better than anticipated. And the Lakers' role players stepped up hugely this series, something they failed to do in round 1. Morris was hitting shots consistently, we had that huge Rondo performance, and overall, the Lakers' bench players were consistent enough to topple anything the Rockets threw at them. It was a near perfect series for LA, and honestly, they look like the favorites to win it all at this point. The Denver Nuggets have just done the impossible. After being down 3-1 against the Utah Jazz, Denver crawled their way back and took Game 7 in a thriller, and now they've done it again against the Clippers. After almost taking a 2-1 series lead, the Nuggets just seemed completely out of it after Game 4. However, as Jokic and Murray have stated, Denver plays at their best with their backs against the wall, and they've managed to steal this series in Game 7 yet again, becoming the first team in NBA history to come back down from a 3-1 deficit twice in one season. It is just absolutely insane. Nikola Jokic was just phenomenal this series, the Clippers had no answer for him, and Jamal Murray was excellent as well. They managed to contain the Clippers scorers apart from Kawhi, and again, with their backs against the wall, they managed to save their seasons and move on to the Western Conference Finals. They are truly one of the most inspiring stories of the NBA this season, and they now face their most difficult task yet in the Los Angeles Lakers. So, what are the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, and how will it benefit them or disadvantage them this round? Let's take a look at the Lakers first. The first big strength of the Los Angeles Lakers is their defense. The Lakers have some of the best defense in the league, led by big man Anthony Davis, who was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year this season. The Lakers' elite defense was on show against the Rockets as they completely shut down Russell Westbrook and clamped up Houston's system, forcing them to shoot a lot less threes than they normally would and making them drive into taller defenders, creating tougher shots. The Lakers were simply exceptional defensively last round, and against an even better, deeper squad in the Denver Nuggets, this part of their game will be even more critical. Another strength of the Lakers is their chemistry. Though it's hard to show how good a team's chemistry is, it's obvious if you watch the Lakers how close-knit of a team they are. In high-pressure situations, like the playoffs, where you have to trust and rely on your teammates, good team chemistry is key, and this arguably league-best chemistry could be great for the Lakers in the latter half of the playoffs. So those are the strengths of the Lakers. But what about their weaknesses? The biggest weakness to me has to be their three-point shooting. Though the Lakers' three-point shooting did improve against Houston, it is still a worry in my eyes. Danny Green still hasn't heated up, guys like Morris and Caruso were quite inconsistent, though they did have some great games in there, and overall, the Lakers' three-point shooting just didn't feel like a constant threat. Some games they couldn't miss, and some games they were shooting like 30% from downtown. So whilst it has definitely improved from round 1, I think it needs to improve even further if they want to confidently secure a spot in the finals at least. So those are the strengths and weaknesses of the Los Angeles Lakers. But what about the Nuggets? The first big strength of the Denver Nuggets has to be their depth and versatility. The Nuggets have one of the best benches in the league, featuring guys like Barton, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., etc., who can all produce consistently on the offensive end. This added unpredictability will be crucial to win against a team like the Lakers. As MPJ stated, a lack of unpredictability hurts the Nuggets. It's a reason why they went down 3-1 against the Clippers. So if they can use this advantage of having so many good scorers against the Lakers, they may be a chance to cause an upset. Another strength of the Nuggets is their defense. Before the suspension, Denver was a top 5 team in the league for points allowed per game, and this is thanks to additions of Jeremy Grant and the continued defensive excellence of Gary Harris. Guys like Jokic, Murray, and Porter Jr. do hurt this strength a bit, and obviously Denver isn't the greatest defensive team in the world, but they've shown their defensive prowess this season, and in the playoffs, it's allowed them to get as far as they have. So those are Denver's strengths. How about their weaknesses? The biggest weakness I can think of for Denver that will hurt them the most this series is their lack of a big wing defender. We saw it against the Clippers. The only guy they struggled to contain consistently was Kawhi Leonard, and I'm afraid the same may happen with a stronger LeBron James. Though Jeremy Grant definitely has the capability to slow down LeBron with his length and athleticism, I'm not sure if Denver will put him in the starting lineup to do so. The starting lineup matchups are really poor for the Nuggets defensively, so with this lack of a true wing defender, the Nuggets may struggle this series to hold down the Lakers' stars. So those are the strengths and weaknesses of both teams. Now, let's take a look at a couple players that need to step up this round for their team to have the best chance of winning. We'll start with the Lakers. If we're being honest here, there's not many guys that need to step up majorly for the Lakers. Role players like Morris, Rondo, Caruso, etc. were huge against the Rockets and made them pay. Davis and LeBron were both fantastic as well, so the only guy I can really think of that needs to step up is Danny Green. Though Danny Green definitely did improve from round 1 against Portland, he still isn't consistent enough for my liking, and at times this series, his poor shooting hurt the Lakers. Again, he was still good. The entire Lakers squad was just amazing if we're being honest against Houston, but if any player has the most pressure coming into next series, it's definitely him, as guys like Rondo, Caruso, etc. may take more and more of his game time if he can't knock his shots down consistently. Again though, this is not a huge issue, just something I thought I'd note. The player who needs to step up for the Nuggets is definitely Jeremy Grant. He wasn't great last series against the Clippers, struggling to find his rhythm shooting wise, but he did play well defensively, I'll give him that. The reason why I believe he needs to step up this series is because he's really the only player on Denver I can see holding up LeBron James. LeBron's impact is huge on a series, and if Jeremy Grant can at least half his impact, the Nuggets will be in good shape. With that said though, his offense needs to improve this series if he wants to be able to remain on the floor. I know he can be a good to great shooter, I saw it in the regular season, but if he still can't find his shot in the playoffs, then I'm not sure how often he will play. He can't become a Westbrook for Denver against the Lakers, and his presence is needed defensively, so his offense needs to improve. Basically, Jeremy Grant needs to step up this series defensively to try slow down LeBron, and needs to improve offensively so the Nuggets can utilize him as much as possible. He is going to be a big key to the Nuggets winning this series. The key to success for the Lakers this series is pace, particularly over the first couple of games. The Nuggets are going to be tired from an exhausting 7-game battle, so if LA can play at a high tempo, it will drain a lot out of the Nuggets, which will be to their advantage. Also, the Nuggets have played at the second slowest pace these playoffs, only behind Utah, whilst the Lakers are close to the top 5 in pace, so I definitely think the Lakers have the ability to go out running and tire out Denver. Jokic isn't the most fit player, the team in general isn't that fast, so the more possessions the Lakers play, particularly over the first couple games, the better their chances are of winning this series. The key to success for the Nuggets has to be slowing down LeBron James. LeBron is the most impactful player in a series, and for the Nuggets to be even in the equation this round, LeBron's impact needs to be reduced. Denver sort of did it for Kawhi, particularly in the last 3 games, so I think they can do it for LeBron too. With that all being said though, after looking at the strengths and weaknesses, players who need to step up, and the keys to success for each team, it is now time for my final prediction. Who wins this series? The Lakers or the Nuggets? I'm going to have to go with the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games, and here is why. I just think that yet again, the duo of LeBron and Davis will be too much for their opponent. I think Jokic will struggle with the Anthony Davis matchup, and as I stated earlier, the Nuggets don't really have anyone aside from Jeremy Grant who might be able to contain LeBron. I also think the Lakers will be able to contain Jamal Murray well enough to prevent any sort of chance the Nuggets have in this series, because in my eyes, he'll need to recreate round 1 for them to even be a shot. However, I won't be too harsh. Whilst the chance the Nuggets win this series is very, very low, everyone did say that with the Clippers too. No one has expected them to come as far as they did, and now they are ready to take it up against the favourites next round. Unfortunately though, I just can't go against the Lakers. They are in too good of a form right now, and are perfectly set up to lock down the Nuggets. So, I'm gonna have to go with the Lakers advancing to the NBA Finals in 5 games today. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? Who do you have winning this series? The Nuggets or the Lakers, and in how many games? Let me know all your predictions below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.